Hi, I'm FN. I have a problem. I suspect that you have a similar problem, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video. My problem has a name. His name is Jose Maria de Castro, but he's better known as Chille. This guy has filed 3 false copyright strikes against me. Additionally, my email account was hacked. While I know that Chille lacks the technical expertise to do it himself, I believe that it was done by one of his followers, with his full knowledge and acquiescence. I don't have proof, so I'm going to let it go with that. My problem with Chille is that he's a pseudo-lawyer, First Amendment auditor, and sovereign citizen, all rolled into one big ball of stupidity. He's a grifter, and a con artist, who dispenses bad legal advice, and who cons disaffected and disenfranchised people out of their hard-earned money, with false promises of making changes that are never, ever going to happen. My biggest problem lies in his bad legal advice. I'm retired now, and therefore I am no longer able to give legal advice. You won't get legal advice from this video, or any of my videos. But what I am legally allowed to do, is give you facts. I can provide educational content, that corrects factual errors in the things Chille says. Unlike Chille, I do understand the law. I'm not saying that my research is flawless, there is always more that I could read, but I do actual research. I may no longer have a law license, but I still have my Juris Doctorate. It's over 25 years old, but I passed the Virginia bar and I practiced law for well over 20 years. However, I want this to be abundantly clear. I don't give legal advice. I will only state what case law and code sections say, and I offer no advice on what it means. Interpretation is totally up to you. I don't make any representations as to what will or will not happen. I do, however, intersperse my personal opinions throughout this video. Now that the disclaimer is out of the way, let's talk about today's video. The setting is a highway, somewhere in New Mexico. Chille is attempting a cop watch and to some degree a First Amendment audit, all at the same time. I'm going to edit his original video down to places where I believe I can present you, the viewer, with facts and correct information. With that, let's roll with the video.
I need your supervisor. I am asking him for his supervisor. I am asking you for your supervisor.
Sir, there's a cop right here. Sir, there's another cop pulling up. Can we wait? Sir, both of my hands are right here.
Drop the knife now. Drop the knife.
You're gonna go to jail. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Stop being like this.
Open the door, ma'am. You are under arrest for obstruction of justice. Open the door. Thank you. You're under arrest, ma'am. You need to step out of the vehicle.
What did I do wrong?
You need to step out of the vehicle immediately, ma'am. You are under arrest. Ma'am, you are under arrest. Step out of the vehicle.
What did I do?
Please, is there anything I can do, sir? Please. Don't do this to my wife, man. You don't know what you're doing to my family, man. Please. I beg you. I'm literally I'm gonna put my feet. Sir, I'm begging you, please.
Well, then I'm going to walk around here and take some videos.
Okay.
So if you're done, then head on back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Appreciate you.
I didn't break the law. I'm not going to be found guilty of anything. It's a waste of time. If you guys want to know who I am, I'll tell you who I am. If you want to know what I'm doing here, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Put your hands behind your back now. Put your hands behind your back now. Behind your back now. You're going to get it again. Put your hands behind your back now.
I don't know who you are. Oh no, it's just a troll. I don't want to. Take it off. Um.
This video is sponsored by Heinz Whoop-Ass. Next time you see a frauditor, open a can of Whoop-Ass on them. Whoop-Ass. The treat that you can enjoy over and over again.
Don't put your light in my face. Hey, listen. Who cares about me? I'm just filming you guys in your official. Your stop is over. I can film you now. You go ahead and arrest me for it, and I'll challenge the law in court.
Sir, do you even know why I was shining a light over there?
No. Do you want to tell me, sir?
Yes, I was.
Okay, tell me.
Because you pulled over, right?
Okay.
You pulled over, and you went inside your vehicle. Do you know how many officers have been shot?
What?
Do you know that?
What's that?
How many officers have been shot?
In my research, I depended heavily on FBI crime statistics. I reviewed other statistics as well, kept by reputable sources, such as the Fraternal Order of Police, and several news sources who also track the numbers. They are the Washington Post and the New York Times. For full disclosure, I am a retired member of the Fraternal Order of Police. However, I believe that I can be objective on this issue. I have found that numbers vary, but they are within the margin of error, statistically speaking. I would consider the FBI as the most reliable source. They have said that 89 officers died in the line of duty in 2019. Of these, 48 officers died as a result of felonious acts, and 41 officers died in accidents. The FBI breaks the numbers down by the types of felonious incidents. It's rather lengthy, so I have included a link to the FBI report in the description. I would encourage you to read it.
Are you kidding me, dude?
No, I'm asking you.
Do you know how many people were shot by cops?
Do you know
You
me?
know how many people were killed today by police in America?
I don't know about you, but I trust the Washington Post as a reliable source. They track the number of citizens killed by police every year in a police shooting database. I have included a link to that database in the description, in case you are curious about learning more. It is a searchable database, so you can use filters to find the numbers for your state or city. They found that police nationwide have shot and killed almost the same number of people annually. That number stands at roughly 1,000 per year since the Post began its project. Because the database is searchable, I found that, of the 1,006 people shot in 2021, a total of 661 were in possession of a firearm and fleeing police in a car.
This is a whataboutism? Well, what about the people on Mars? Don't put that light in my eyes. Dude,
You have a good night, sir.
dude, what the fuck is that? I need
You
his
have a
name
good
and
night,
badge
sir.
number.
You have a good night, sir.
Everybody, I have thousands of people watching.
Poor Chille. He has never hit even close to 1,000 viewers in his streams. He's absolutely dreaming to think that multiple thousands are watching. He averages only around 300 viewers for most of his live streams.
What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge? Oh, dude, you are such a punk ass bitch, dude. I ruined their night because they wanted to harass and bully some guys, and I saw it plain as day. They had these two guys. The guys were, 20 years old maybe, and I saw that they had all their stuff strung out all over the ground there.
First, Chille has no idea what the pretext for the stop was. I'm not going to throw out a bunch of hypothetical reasons for this stop. I have no idea, but neither did Chille. I'll leave it to your imagination as to why the Border Patrol would have a vehicle stopped, and its contents removed and inspected. You know what the Border Patrol does, so I'll let you form your own conclusions.
On the side of the road, they had their stereo, their backseat down, they were searching, and I know that you can revoke consent anytime you want, and so I went up there to tell those guys to revoke consent.
We don't know why these officers have these two individuals pulled over. Neither does Chille. But I would like to discuss the concepts of a consent search versus a probable cause search. If a search is a consensual search, then it obviously makes sense that consent can be withdrawn. The Supreme Court has held that withdrawal of consent need not be effectuated through any particular magic words, but an intent to withdraw consent must be made by unequivocal act or statement. The court has also held that, generally, an immigration officer cannot detain you without reasonable articulable suspicion. Reasonable articulable suspicion is less robust than probable cause, but it must be more than a hunch or gut feeling. An agent must have specific facts that make it reasonable to believe that a person is committing, or have committed, a violation of immigration law or federal law. The Supreme Court has held that police officers do not need a warrant to search a vehicle for contraband, but they must have probable cause that the vehicle contains said contraband. If a car is readily mobile, and probable cause exists, the Fourth Amendment thus permits police to search the vehicle, without more. Often during traffic stops, law enforcement will observe contraband in plain view, inside of the vehicle, which thus provides probable cause for a search. The holding of the Williams case, that Chille cites in his useless trifold, is not what Chille says it is. The holding of Williams was that officers must have objective, reasonable suspicion that the individual is involved in drug activity. I have included a link to the case, because I want you to be able to read it for yourself. Under the totality of the circumstances, the court held that the officer's testimony in the Williams case did not rise to the level of reasonable, articulable suspicion necessary to justify the detention of the defendant beyond the conclusion of the traffic stop.
You can stop the search at any time. You have to say, I demand you stop the search now. Invoke your rights right now. I don't have to do that. Teche versus Danforth, 1943.
I have previously discussed the case of Teche v. Danforth in a prior video. However, I will summarize things again here. Teche is a Mississippi Supreme Court case. It has no application in New Mexico or any of the other 48 states that aren't named Mississippi. Let me make this totally clear for Chille or any of his followers that might watch this video. Write this down, chinchilla. Teche is not applicable anywhere outside of Mississippi. Chille really needs to learn this lesson. However, New Mexico has a clearly defined statute that prohibits stopping on the highway. New Mexico Code 66-7-349 forbids stopping, standing or parking outside of business or residential districts. Specifically it says, quote, upon any highway outside of a business or residential districts, no person shall stop, park or leave standing a vehicle, whether attended or unattended, upon the paved or main traveled part of the highway, end quote. It does allow stopping in an emergency. Section 66-1-4.2 defines a business district to mean the territory contiguous to, and including a highway, when within any 300 feet along the highway, there are buildings in use for business or industrial purposes. These include, but are not limited to hotels, banks or office buildings, railroad stations, and public buildings that occupy at least 50% of the frontage on one side or 50% of the frontage collectively on both sides of the highway. Clearly from Chille's video, he is on a highway, as no businesses are visible on his footage. I apologize for the odd vocal pauses. I don't know why they are happening.
Gives me an inalienable right to travel in America. It's also my right to tell the occupant of that vehicle, you have to tell him to stop the search now. You demand he stop. Here's some literature, sir, if you'd like to read it. Occupant, tell him you do not consent to any searches. You can stop the search now. Stop the search now. Demand your rights right now.
Chille has no idea why this vehicle is being searched. But he is interjecting himself into a traffic stop. Again, as I have discussed in prior videos, his actions are disruptive to the officer's investigations, and he is making all of the parties to this stop much less safe. There are no street lights visible. This is the epitome of a dark desert highway. Sadly, there is no cool wind in their hair. I'm reasonably sure that the occupants of the vehicle would like to get this stop over as quickly as possible, but Chille always has to draw attention to himself and is slowing the officers down. The longer that anyone is standing in that dark stretch of highway, the greater the risk of an accident. Throughout this video, I am going to lay out some facts, but sometimes I'll express an opinion. Therefore, it is my opinion that Chille has no business involving himself into this stop. He's being a jackass, and he needs to stop these silly antics. It just makes him look stupid.
Tell him now out loud. I revoke consent. Tell him now out loud. You can tell him I revoke consent. Tell him out loud. And he has to stop searching immediately. And if he doesn't, I will sue him for you.
Chille. My man, you aren't an attorney. You can't sue on behalf of anyone. You need to stop practicing law without a license. Play acting like a lawyer is fine for television or on the big screen, but in real life, it carries consequences that I don't think you'll like very much. And by consequences, I want you to think torture cuffs and rape cages. That is why I only state what case law and code sections say, and I offer no advice on what it means. I leave it to the viewer of this video to decide how to interpret or apply them. I don't make any representations as to what will or will not happen. New Mexico Code, Section 36-2-27 covers the unauthorized practice of law, and makes it a criminal offense. That crime is contempt of court. The punishment for criminal contempt is either fines, jail time or both, as it is meant to prevent the same behavior in the future. So Chille, you need to knock that crap off. I am sorry that every viewer has to hear that, but I know that Chille watches my videos, so I do sometimes digress, and speak directly to him.
You tell him I revoke all consent. No, revoke consent now, out loud. No, revoke consent. No, I don't have to stop recording. I am a member of the press.
Chille, you are just a jerk-off with a crappy camera phone. If you can do that, then so can I. Therefore, I am hereby declaring myself a citizen journalist as well. I'm going to focus my efforts, as an investigative reporter, to create an exposé on José María de Castro, otherwise known as Chille de Castro. I will therefore have all the protections and rights afforded to my journalistic work. Somehow I don't think Chille will like it when things are turned around on him. I will say this about his journalistic skills. They suck. If he were a real journalist, he probably would have been fired by now. Real journalists don't insert themselves into the story, in an effort to make themselves the most important part of what they cover.
Here is the literature that will show you. Please don't put the light in my eyes, officer.
Ah, does the flashlight hurt little Chillito Bambino's eyes? Poor baby. Considering that it made Chille more visible to passing traffic, he should be thanking the officer for lighting him up. I only wish they'd have lit him up, in a different kind of way.
I believe that's going to be the Bane Act.
This is how you know that Chille is no constitutional law scholar. If he was, he would know that the Bane Act, California Civil Code Section 52.1, also known as the Tom Bane Civil Rights Act, is a civil code in California that forbids people from interfering with a person's constitutional rights by force or threat of violence. It's a California law, not a federal one. What an idiot. A true legal scholar wouldn't get something as simple as knowing that the Bane Act only applies in California, so absolutely and totally wrong. Chille gets all his information through YouTube videos, and this is just another example of that. Believe me, I'll be showing you other examples in the future. But just listen to how confident this fake constitutional scholar is in throwing it out there. But as per usual, Chille is wrong again. Chille is the literal definition of the Dunning-Kruger effect. The effect is a psychological issue whereby people with limited knowledge or competence in a given intellectual or social field greatly overestimate their own knowledge or competence in that domain. Chille claims to be some kind of scholar, but in truth, he totally lacks any competence or understanding of the law or of history. Further, his only, quote, education, end quote, is things he has heard on the internet. That's why Chille is so dangerous. He espouses false legal advice, and outright lies about history. He and his fake legal gurus can truly do irreparable harm to anyone who follows his legal advice. There can be severe consequences, both civilly and criminally, to those people. That is why you should always seek the advice from an attorney.
And I can hold you personally liable, so you have to tell me your name and badge number. Don't block out my camera vision. Tell me your name and... I need your name and ID. What's your ID number? If this is federal, you're going to fall under the Federal Badge Identification Law of 2021.
We heard him trying that one when he was in the Attorney General's office building in Ohio a few months ago. Once again, Chille heard the name of the new law, but he failed to actually read it. The original bill, which he referenced, was actually incorporated into the Defense Authorization Act. So technically, there is no bill bearing that name. However, the section of the Defense Authorization Bill does require federal military and civilian law enforcement personnel involved in the federal government's response to a, quote, civil disturbance, end quote, to wear visible identification and the name of the government agency employing them. The intent of the law is to prevent unmarked and unidentifiable police personnel from engaging in unlawful activities during civil disturbances, such as those that followed the death of George Floyd. When government employees are interacting with members of the public and exercising government authority, such as the power to arrest people, the public now has the right to know who the employees are and which agency employs them. I agree that this is a good thing. However, I don't see a civil disturbance here. Furthermore, I do see members of the Border Patrol in full uniform, displaying their badge of authority, and clearly displaying the agency they work for. Nothing in the new law requires that members of the agency state out loud any additional information. I have stated the facts. Now you decide.
What? I don't care. Name and badge number now. I said now. Name and badge number. Revoke consent. Out loud, occupant of the vehicle. Revoke consent now. Out loud.
Can you imagine being in the shoes of the occupants of that vehicle? They are probably under a great deal of stress right now. Here they have been pulled over and searched, and now they have a lunatic, with a camera, shouting a bunch of meaningless nonsense at them. I'm sure that these guys just want this traffic stop to be over as quickly as possible, so they can get on their way. Chille has no respect for authority, we all know that already. But he is completely disrespecting these people, by slowing them down, and trying to make himself the center of the officer's attention. There is nothing wrong with filming police. If you are going to film the police, then don't try to interfere with the job that they are there to do. But don't forget that there is a law that prohibits Chille from stopping his vehicle on the highway. Chille's need for attention and constant adoration seems to be growing. His spectacles appear to be getting larger. How long before he does something that gets someone killed?
Revoke consent! Tell him I revoke all consent. He has to stop immediately, it's the law. And if he doesn't, I'll sue him. For you.
Getting back to the unauthorized practice of law, it basically makes it illegal for a person to hold themselves out to the public or otherwise that they are a lawyer. It is just my opinion, but when I hear Chille say that he will sue one person on behalf of another person, that sounds like he's engaging in the unauthorized practice of law to me. Worse still, he is literally documenting himself while doing it. That's always a super great idea. Filming yourself breaking the law. Chille isn't too bright.
These look like kids. They don't look like they're human trafficking.
Where in the duck did Chille get that from? No one has said anything about human trafficking. He just pulled that one straight out of his butt. Please watch how close Chille the clown gets to the edge of the road and to the oncoming traffic.
I think I'm in New Mexico. I think I just found some pigs who pulled some kids over and are giving them a hard time.
Are you serious? He doesn't know what state he's even in. Well, that's probably because he was pretending his car was driving itself while he napped in the driver's seat. He's so stupid that he doesn't understand that a driver assist system is not fracking autopilot. But it gets worse. Not only does he not know where he is, he has just admitted that he has no idea why these young men were pulled over. Regardless, like an idiot, he charges forward like a mindless zombie. Instead of repeating, "eat brains," over and over, he repeats, "dirty pigs," over and over. Well, at least he got the mindless part right.
And they don't understand. Yes, it's U.S. Customs. Are you U.S. Immigration, sir?
United States Border Patrol.
United States Border Patrol. So they're using, that's going to be Fuertes? Is that going to be, is it Bivens? It's border agents. These guys are 20s, early 20s.
If they are in their early 20s, then they are fully adults, and they don't need Chille getting involved in their business. The irony doesn't escape me, that Chille gets very upset when people like Kate, from the Masshole channel comes up to him, yelling contradictory messages, but he feels absolutely entitled to do the same thing himself.
What's the probable cause? What's the probable cause? I don't understand.
What Chille doesn't seem to understand is that these officers are under no obligation to give him that kind of information. The officers are obligated to explain that to the occupants of the vehicle, but who the hell does Chille think he is? He's not a party to this stop. He is now acting like a dunce cap. The truly jacked up thing about it is that his followers are just as stupid as he is, and they don't see how dumb he really looks.
You don't have to put the light at me, sir. I'm no threat to you.
How are the officers supposed to know whether Chille is a threat or not? Just because he says so? And people never lie to police, now do they? It's utterly ridiculous that Chille thinks that just because he says he's no threat, that the agents will just automatically believe him.
I filed 3 federal civil rights lawsuits this year. You'll be my 4th.
It's irrelevant how many lawsuits he has filed. What matters is how many has he won. So far, the answer to that is none. Furthermore, most everyone is desensitized to the threat of, "I'll sue you." It's become nothing more than a schoolyard threat. It's exactly like a schoolboy saying, "I'll kill you," in a schoolyard fight. No one believes either threat to be true. Police especially hear that threat on a near daily basis. Whenever I hear Chille say this, he sounds more like a 12-year-old boy, rather than a 47-year-old man. He sounds just childish.
That's called prior restraint. So I can go to the hospital after this, and if you damage my eyes, I can file a federal lawsuit against you. Are you a moron?
The only moron here is Chillito. But that's just how Chille is. He heard the term, prior restraint, used on the internet, but he never took the time to read what it actually means. In First Amendment law, prior restraint is government action that prohibits speech or other expression, before the speech actually happens. Thus, prior restraint. Prior restraint typically occurs in one of three ways. It may be a statute or regulation that requires a speaker to acquire a permit or license before speaking. Prior restraint can also be a judicial injunction that prohibits certain speech. In the third way, the government outright prohibits a certain type of speech. Nothing that these officers are doing appears to fit into any of these types of restraint. The officer on the passenger side of the car clearly has his flashlight tucked into the crook of his neck, because both of his hands are occupied writing the ticket. Most of the time, it's Chille that moves and gets into the lights. They aren't stopping Chille from filming, only from getting good footage.
You don't blind people with your flashlight. I'll get my light and I'll blind you.
Now, if Chille's real goal is to get himself arrested, and it might be, just so he'll have somewhere to sleep for the night, then he should try that. I suspect that those officers would very likely arrest him. It just goes to show how childish and ignorant Chille is. Should he choose to do it, then he would deserve everything that the officers can charge him with. He will most likely be met with the physical confrontation that he so badly desires. An aggressive confrontation gives him the clicks and views he desperately wants. It also gives him another opportunity to beg for more money. Frankly, Chille is just a sad and pathetic excuse for a human being. He's a confirmed pathological liar, a grifter and a con man. When his ways eventually catch up with him, and ultimately they will, he will deserve every bit of punishment that the judicial system can impose. And what this eternal attention seeker doesn't seem to realize is that a week after he disappears from YouTube, his followers will forget about him and move on to someone else.
Let me narrate a little bit here to the audience. Whoops. So...
Chille can't go too long without having his face on camera. Doesn't he realize that he's been narrating the entire time? He is only turning the camera around for his own vanity. He just loves to be on the screen. Again, it's just sad and pathetic.
No, listen, I need this person's name and badge number so I can file a complaint and see if I can push a lawsuit against him. Don't put that light in my eyes. Dude.
You have a good night, sir.
Dude, what the fuck is that? I need his name and badge number.
You have a good night, sir.
Everybody, I have thousands of people watching. What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge? Oh, dude, you are such a punk-ass bitch, dude. You're such a punk bitch. You're really tough. You're real tough. You're real tough with the badge on, aren't you? In real life, buddy, you know how it would go. You know the way things would go.
How many times does Chille have to say this? No one believes him. He's a short little mother clucker who is fit, but not particularly muscular. Only a pipsqueak runt, like Chille, feels the need to try to make himself feel bigger like this. Small in stature and tiny in intellect. That's old Chille for you. He's always felt like a very little person, since he was a young boy, shopping in the boys' pants department. Oh, wait. He still does. I'm going to end things right there, because the rest of Chille's video is him walking around a McDonald's parking lot, talking to his fake lawyer friend, Bobby Law, and rehashing the events you just watched. There has been so much here. I think I've shown what a complete fraud Chille is. He knows nothing about the law, and that was on full display. I hope you got something out of my video. As always, thanks for watching.
Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
Oh no, it's just a troll. I don't want to talk to him. Thank you though.
Drop the knife now. Drop the knife.
Him for his supervisor. I am asking you for your supervisor. Hey, okay.
Open the door. Open the door, ma'am. You are under arrest for obstruction of justice. Open the door. Thank you. You're under arrest, ma'am. You need to step out of the vehicle.
What did I do wrong?
You need to step out of the vehicle immediately, ma'am. You are under arrest. Ma'am, you are under arrest.
What did I do?
Step out of the vehicle.
What did I do?
Both of my hands are right here.